Dear brothers and sisters, how often are we confronted with illnesses that seem to us not only a challenge, but an insurmountable obstacle to happiness and well-being? We or our loved ones face diagnoses that bring anxiety and despair to our hearts. It is especially difficult when the illness seems incurable, when medical prognoses lack optimism, and there seems to be no door left in front of us but the door of hopelessness. Subscribe to our channel for more inspirational videos on spiritual growth and healing. We ask ourselves questions that seem to have no answers. What do we experience when we are faced with a terminal illness? Despair, anger, resentment. These feelings become our companions, a heavy weight we carry in our hearts that seems impossible to let go of. How to find the strength to live on when it seems that all life stops. How to reconcile with the inevitable and find the way to the light at the end of the tunnel. In these moments we turn for help. We seek comfort and support. We pray. We look for answers in faith, in science, in the wisdom of those who have gone through similar trials and found the way to the light. But I want to share with you an eternal truth that can be your beacon in the dark waters of life. This truth is about forgiveness and healing. Forgiveness is not just a word. It is an action, an act of will that requires strength and courage. Forgiveness is the path to freedom from the anger, resentment, and despair that destroy us from the inside out. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the heavy weight that keeps us from moving forward. And it is in this release that we find healing. The healing I am talking about may not always mean healing of the body. Sometimes healing comes to our soul, to our heart. It brings peace and serenity, teaching us to accept and love life in all its manifestations, even in suffering and pain. Healing of the soul opens us to a deep inner transformation, to the possibility of seeing light even in the darkest times. Remember that moment when your heart was overflowing with resentment, when every cell of your body was screaming with pain and misunderstanding. We have all, without exception, gone through this. Resentment, like a heavy, inexorable stone, shackles us and slowly but surely drags us to the depths of despair, where darkness envelops us so tightly that it seems that light will never break through this darkness. In these moments, when there seems to be less and less air and hope is fading, we feel most alone and abandoned. But dear ones, I come to you with a message that can transform your pain and despair into hope and release. The secret I want to share with you is that the power to change your condition, the power to free your heart from the weight of resentment, is not in the hands of those who have hurt you. No, that power is within yourself. And that powerful key that can unlock any shackles and set you free is forgiveness. Forgiveness is not just a word or an act of will. It is a deep, healing process that begins in the heart and reaches into every corner of our being. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or justifying the actions of another person. Forgiveness is a conscious choice to free ourselves from the shackles of resentment and anger that hold us in the past and keep us from moving forward. When we forgive, it is as if we are saying, I am letting go of the hurt you have caused me. I release myself from this burden and give myself freedom, peace, and the ability to move forward. This act of forgiveness is a powerful act of self-love that opens the door to new possibilities, to healing, and to release from suffering. Remember, each of us has this power. The power of forgiveness is a divine gift that we can use at any moment. Don't let resentment and anger steal your joy of life and the opportunity to love again. Take a step toward forgiveness, and you will see your life begin to transform before your eyes, filled with light, peace, and harmony. But know this is not easy. Resentment has settled in your heart. It has overwhelmed you so much that there seems to be no way out. At this moment I, God, want to remind you of the power that can save you, the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean that you forget what happened or justify the actions that hurt you. On the contrary, forgiveness is a conscious choice, an act of will that frees you from the heavy chains of resentment that hold your heart hostage to the past. Forgiveness is a step on the path to your personal healing. It doesn't mean that the path will be easy or that the pain will disappear instantly, but it is the beginning of a process that allows you to find peace in your heart and soul again. The stories of people who have been able to forgive, even when it seemed impossible, are a testament to the inexhaustible power of the Spirit. These stories of how resentment was transformed into forgiveness and then into healing, show us that each of us has this same power. Whatever the circumstances that led to the offense, the process of forgiveness begins with the realization that holding on to the offense only continues to bring you pain. When you let go of a grudge, you are not doing a favor to the one who wronged you. You are doing a favor to yourself, giving yourself the opportunity to move forward, freeing your heart for love, joy, and peace. Stories of forgiveness and healing fill us not only with self-confidence, but also with the realization that forgiveness opens the door to the deep inner peace we all long for. These stories serve as a reminder that despite our trials and challenges, the capacity for forgiveness lives in the heart of each of us, which is the key to true healing and renewal. Remember, forgiveness is your step out of a difficult past and into a bright future. It is your choice, your path to healing, which begins with one small but decisive step, the decision to forgive. I will tell you the story of a woman who suffered for years from unbearable physical pain. Doctors were powerless over her condition, and there seemed to be no hope of recovery. She lived in the shadow of her pain until she heard about the power of forgiveness and decided to forgive. To forgive herself, her family and friends, all those who had once caused her pain and disappointment. She took a long time to sort through herself, her hurts and resentments to the world. The words about the importance of letting go of resentments and anger awakened a new hope in her. She decided to forgive those who had hurt her years ago without expecting anything in return. From that moment on, gradually, in small steps, her soul and body began their healing. Her mental wounds began to heal, and to the surprise of everyone, the physical pains began to recede. Her body healed as she released her heart from her anger and resentment. And this example is not the only one. Stories like this are found in different countries, on different continents all over the world, emphasizing the universal power of forgiveness. Here is a story of a man who for years could not forgive a grudge a friend had inflicted on him. This offense poisoned his life, causing stress and negatively affecting his health. When he finally found the strength to forgive, he felt a heavy weight lifted off his shoulders and his health improved markedly. Everything in this world confirms the reciprocal relationship between forgiveness and health. The stress of unforgiveness can lead to high blood pressure, deterioration of the cardiovascular system, and even the development of chronic diseases. Forgiveness, on the other hand, brings peace and tranquility, which are the foundation of physical and psychological health. It helps reduce stress levels, improve sleep quality, and overall well-being. Family. How often within a family, conflicts, anger, resentments, and a family torn by conflict flare up brightly. Years of hatred and resentment have only added to the suffering of the people within the family. But when they found the strength to sit down and forgive each other, their relationship began to heal. This forgiveness brought not only emotional relief, but also had a positive impact on their physical health. They began to notice that they felt better, more energetic, and they had the energy for new endeavors. Forgiveness is not just a moral choice or an act of spiritual development. It is also an important component of our physical well-being. When we forgive, we free ourselves not only from the emotional burden of pain and suffering, but also from the physical burden of pain and suffering. Yes, forgiveness takes courage. Courage to face pain that sometimes seems insurmountable. Courage to let it go even when everything inside resists it. It's not just a process, it's a journey deep inside ourselves, a face-to-face encounter with the darkest corners of our souls. But when we take that step, when we dare to forgive, we open the door to a new life. A life full of light and joy. A life where there is no room for the heavy chains of the past that keep us from moving forward. In this life we walk freely, filled with hope and love, ready to embrace the best that it offers. An example of this healing is the story of a man who for years could not forgive a grudge caused by a close friend. This resentment became a heavy weight that he dragged behind him, which prevented him from enjoying life and building new relationships. However, when he was able to forgive, he felt as if the shackles had fallen off of him. His heart was filled with peace and he was once again able to enjoy life, find beauty in it, and build deep, meaningful relationships with others. Another example is a woman who lost a loved one in an accident that she thought was the other person's fault. Years of hatred and resentment only added to her inner suffering until one day she decided to let go of her pain and forgive. This decision brought her not only mental relief, but also allowed her to find new meaning in her life by channeling her energies into helping others who were experiencing similar losses. Yes, but how simple and easy it is to say I'm sorry or I choose to forgive, but in reality, it is one of life's most difficult challenges. Finding the strength to truly forgive, to reconcile with the loss or the person who has caused you so much pain and suffering, or the people who have wronged you or your loved ones, is not an easy task. So how do you do it? How do you walk the path from deep resentment to true forgiveness and healing? Forgiveness begins with understanding. Understanding that each person operates within their own worldview, their own fears and pain. Many of us carry heavy burdens from the past that influence our actions and decisions. By realizing this, we can look at the actions of others from a different angle. The next step is acceptance. Accepting the fact that the past cannot be changed, but our attitude toward it can change. We can change it. This does not mean that we approve of the actions that hurt us, but we accept them as a part of our past that should not poison our present and future. Next comes the process of releasing the negative emotions. This can take time and patience, as resentment and anger are often deeply rooted in our heart. Some people are helped by meditation, others by talking to a trusted person or professional. The key is to give yourself permission to let go of these difficult feelings. Examples of healing are everywhere. You just have to turn around and look carefully around you and you will see these examples. You just have to try to look and see. Here is the story of Nelson Mandela, 27 years of hard imprisonment. It would seem, how can you forgive the people who tortured you for 27 years after that? And he could. He was able to forgive his jailers and became a symbol of reconciliation and unity in South Africa. Or another story of Immaculée Ilabageza, a survivor of the Rwandan genocide, who was able to forgive the people who killed her family. And it would seem, how can you forgive the people who killed your family? It seems impossible, but she could, she did, and she dedicated her life to spreading the message of forgiveness and peace. And finally, forgiveness is a choice. Your choice. A choice to let go of the pain of the past and open yourself to healing and new possibilities. It doesn't mean forgetting or ignoring what happened, but giving yourself the freedom to live without the weight of resentment. Forgiveness frees us not only from the pain of the past, but also from fear and uncertainty about the future, allowing us to reach our full potential and live life to the fullest. In this way, forgiveness is a complex but healing process that begins with understanding, moves through acceptance and release, and culminates in the choice to live without resentment. Healing through forgiveness is not an instant process. It takes time, patience, and above all, a willingness to change your life. But the results of this journey are worth it. People who have gone through this healing speak of the deep inner peace, sense of freedom and renewal they have experienced. They find the strength to not only forgive, but to love again, to open their hearts to the world and the people around them. Forgiveness and healing go hand in hand, leading us to a life in which we can reach our full potential, living without fear or resentment, filled with hope and love. It is the path to a bright and joyful life in which each day brings new opportunities for growth and happiness. May today's sermon be more than just words for you, but the beginning of a journey toward forgiveness and healing. It is important to realize that forgiveness is not an instant act, but a process that takes time, patience, and above all, a desire to change your life for the better. May each of you find the strength to forgive those who have hurt you. It may seem like an insurmountable challenge, but it is in forgiveness that lies the key to your personal healing that you have dreamed of. Forgiveness frees us from the weight of past hurts and allows us to move forward without looking back at the past. It is the path to inner peace, harmony, and joy. When we forgive, we not only get rid of negative emotions such as anger, resentment, or revenge, but we also open the door to new, positive experiences and relationships. Take, for example, the story of Viktor Frankl, a prominent psychiatrist and concentration camp survivor, who said that even in the most dire circumstances, a person can find meaning in life through an inner choice of attitude. His ability to forgive and find meaning even in the most tragic circumstances has been a source of personal healing and has inspired many people around the world. Or consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, a young Pakistani activist who, despite an attempt on her life, showed incredible forgiveness to her attackers. Her strength of forgiveness and commitment to education for all girls has been a powerful source of inspiration and healing for many. These stories show that forgiveness is a choice that can lead to deep personal transformation and healing. It begins with a small step, a decision to let go of hurt and resentment to free your heart for love, joy, and peace. May this forgiveness bring you the healing you've been dreaming of, and may it be a source of new strength that fills your life with light and hope. Remember that each step toward forgiveness is a step toward your own healing and renewal. I am with you, I am near, I will help.